Hey y'all, and welcome to Monter's Market, and welcome to my Winter Wonderland video. Now, I have a little disclaimer. This video is going to be bits and pieces of a couple of other videos. We had a horrible tragedy in our family, and I did not have time to make another video, so I'm sharing something that did not get viewed in the past very much. This video is hosted by Krista's Crafty Live and co-hosted by Crafty. Hence, we do this every single month on the 20th. So let's get right into my first DIY number one. And now there's going to be two DIYs that I'm working on that are these wood rounds, but I'm going to get into this one first, if that makes any sense. I'm going to work on my two wood signs. And the key to any sign that you are going to be stenciling is a good sanding. If you don't get a good smooth finish, then you are not going to get a good stencil on your wood. You're going to have bleeds and you're going to be upset because then you're going to have to sand it all down and start over. And I know this from experience. So I just sanded them really, really good, got me a good smooth surface, and then I painted them. So I am out of my Waverly white chalk paint for now. And I went to Winn-Dixie, Lord, that's our grocery store, y'all, ignore that. Went to Walmart to find some, and all I could find was the white apple barrel acrylic paint, which actually worked fine. I'm just used to the chalk paint, but I wasn't mad at it. I mean, it had good coverage and worked just as good as the chalk paint did, and it's actually way cheaper, so I might have just found me a little shortcut. I don't know. Again, the jury is out on that, so we'll see. But anyway, I painted it with the white Waverly. No, I'm so used to saying that. I painted it with the apple barrel acrylic paint. Then I took my stencils and I weeded the first one out. And this Mrs. Claus Bake Shop was my absolute favorite. I found this on Etsy and fell in love with it. And the picture I found it on was actually square. Now, if you watch right here, I forgot to weed a part of this out. So I had to go back in and weed it once I took it off of the backing, which is no big deal. It still works just fine. It's just an extra step that I had to do. So if you ever peel your stencil and you have forgotten to weed something, don't panic because it's an easy fix. So anyway, I took this Bake Shop stencil and put it down and I burnished it really, really good. That's another key too, is you really got to make sure that your stencil is pushed down into your wood super good. And then that way you won't have any leaks or runs or bleeds or whatever you want to call them. It's all the same thing. So I took some black acrylic paint from Apple Barrel because the one I saw had sort of a gray finish to it with some black, and it just looked like it was 100 years old. It just looked really, really old. So I took the black paint and filled my stencil in. Oh, let me tell you something too. You see those two long blank lines? In the original stencil, those were candy stripes, like candy cane stripes. But I could not get them suckers to weed out for nothing. And I finally gave up and just pulled the whole strip out and thought I would just go back in myself and make the lines, which is what you'll see me do in a minute. I thought about leaving it plain and doing two thick black lines, but I really thought it would take away from the beauty of the original picture I saw. And on the original picture, it had some thin lines, some thick lines, and just very sporadic. So I thought that would be easy enough to duplicate. And I was pretty happy with the way it turned out, so I'm not complaining. But once I got it all painted and it dried, I took my stencil off and went ahead and finished, getting everything out. And then I took a sand block, and I want to say it was probably maybe a 200 grit. It was pretty fine because I wanted it to have sort of an old look, but not just destroy the paint that I just put on there. So I sanded it all down, and then I made sure to go around the edges with a little bit stronger grit, which was I think like an 80 grit that I did around the edge to distress that even more. And then I took some of the same black paint with a round sponge brush and just made these marks that you're seeing. Now I did get some of them a little bit too dark, so I went back in with that same sanding block and lightened them up a little bit. And in the end, I was extremely happy with the way it turned out. It was very close to the picture that I originally saw, and I was tickled to death. So once I got it done, I went in to make my bow, and instead of making a regular twist tie bow like you would on a shoestring, I took some strips of different, what is there, 4 or 5 different ribbons, and made 2 strips, and then I crossed it over like an X. I don't know what these bows are called, but I'm just calling it a raggedy bow because it's just kind of raggedy looking when you're done with it, but really pretty at the same time. So I took some colors that sort of match the colors that I was using in there. And don't ask me where these ribbons came from. Some of them I've had forever, but if I had to tell you, it was either from the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General, or Walmart. So I made my little raggedy bow, and it was cute, but then I found that it needed something else in the middle to hide that zip tie. So I went and made me a little Sammy bow with the yarn that I got from the Dollar Tree that was the same color as my paint. Well, it was the same color as my paint once I got it all distressed. It was sort of a beige, and there it is. And I was tickled pink whenever this was done. Please make sure you tell me in the comments what you think about this, because I want to see if y'all think it's as cute as I do. But let's go ahead and jump right into DIY number 2. I love this sign. Let me tell you about it. All right, now the second one that I did is a Farm Fresh Christmas tree sign. And everybody and their brother is doing the Farm Fresh Christmas tree signs. But that's okay, because now Monner's Market did one. And I'm kind of proud of that one too. But y'all, nothing beats that Mrs. Claus Bake Shop one, in my opinion. I just am patting myself all over the back with that thing because I love the way it turned out. And like I said, I'm going to have a hard time selling that one. I think might keep that one for myself. It just depends. But anyway, I'm just going to go through here and finish weeding this out. And once I get it weeded out, then I will put my stencil on my board and get it painted. But with this one, I'm going to use a couple of different colors of paint. I wasn't too sure when I decided to do that if it would work or not, but I mean, it turned out pretty good. But again, leave me in the comments and tell me what you think. I always say leave me in the comments and tell me what you think. Leave me what? Leave me a comment and tell me what you think is probably how I should say it, because when I go back and listen to it, I'm like, that sounds so stupid, Brenda. But you get the drift. Just let me know what you think.
Merry Christmas, darling. We're apart, that's true. But I can dream, and in my dreams, I'm Christmasing with you. Holidays so joyful.
So let me just tell you real quick. I used the truffle on the top, moss on the trees, and spruce, pine, and fir. And then I used flag red on the Christmas trees. And then on the bottom, I wrote the letters were in brown, and then the 2 little stripe thingies there were in the black. So I just wanted to tell you what colors I used on that. Once I got it all painted and it dried really good, I went and took my stencil off. Now, when I took my stencil off this time, it took some of the paint off on my board. So you will see me go back in with the different colors and fill it in. That's what I'm doing here. I'm filling in with the red, and then I'll go back in and just have to touch up everything. You can't really see it with this shot, but it was very, very bad in person, and I could see it. It was pretty messed up. So that's me going back in and just trying to fill in. That's one thing about it, is it was an easy fix. It was easy to just go back in with my colors and fill it all back in, correct that mistake without too many problems. Fought with that bow and could not figure out a way to get those tails to hang down without covering up half the sign. So I just turned them and flipped them and tucked them in there to make them look like they belong there. But either way, let's just jump on into my final DIY number 3. Now this one is from way back when I very first started my channel. So you are going to find that the recording is awful, but the sign is so stinking cute, I wanted to add it in here. Because here we are at my next one. Now that was the picture that I started with right there. It was cute, okay, I guess, but definitely not what I had envisioned. So I took it apart, painted everything in Waverly white chalk paint. I took one of the pieces of scrap paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm mixing some Waverly, I want to say it's ocean blue. I'll have to look at it and put it into the description. And I sort of mixed the two of them together to give it a lighter, real pale light blue frame. And yes, I went back in to distress the frame. And then I took that paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. You can get it for like 25 cents. All the time they sell it for $4. So I put that on the very bottom piece of the picture. And then the little circle right there, I just took a tiny bit of that blue paint, mixed it back in with the white, but not as light, and then just kind of distressed around the edge. And then I took one of the, what are they called? Snowflake. Oh, dadgummit, man. Snowflake. What is it called? Oh, ornament. Snowflake ornament. And painted it. It comes, I want to say like 5 or 6 to a pack. And then the little thing that I'm putting on top of it, it comes in a bag, and they're called stickers, but they're actually made out of wood. They are so cute. So I just kind of colored them, distressed both of them, glued them to the top of that circle, and then glued the top of that circle back to the top of the picture that it originally came from. That's me taking the Mod Podge and sealing it in. And like I said last week, it just gives it sort of a little shine that I like. So now I'm going to glue everything back down, put it back on the picture, glue it down, put it back in the frame, and that's it. It was so quick, so simple, so easy, but to me, so stinking cute, and way better than it was when I started. Oh, and I did take this ribbon, made my little Sammy finger bow, and put it on there, and it was just too cute. Just too cute. It just added the perfect touch. Bam, there it goes. I was covering up the fatter hole. So then I got to looking at it, I'm like, no, it's missing something. So I got the chalk paint back out in white and just sort of distressed it up a little bit, because I had originally only had the real light blue paint that I made. So I'm just going back in and throwing a little bit of that white Waverly chalk paint on there and making it look like somebody's beat the edge of it up and distressed it up a little bit. And then I was done, and that was it. $1. Well, no, it would have been a little more than $1 because of the little snowflakes right there. But you get what I'm saying, just a tiny bit over $1. But that was it. It was super easy, and I ended up loving it. I think I may do another one to match it, and then just do it as like a matching set. So let me just show you how my little signs turned out. Again, this is a very different ending than I normally do. But back then, I didn't video like a reveal for my pictures. But this is how my little snowflake turned out. This is my grandma's, or I'm sorry, Mrs. Claus Bake Shop, which is still to this day my favorite round that I've ever done. I ended up putting a sawtooth hanger on the back to hang it on the wall during Christmas, but I just did not get a chance to pull out all of my Christmas stuff this year. And then the Christmas tree sign is classic. It is still something that everybody loves pictures of, and I love the way this one turned out. I cannot wait to hear what you think about my 3 Winter Wonderland signs that I made for you today. I want to thank Krista over at Krista's Crafty Life for hosting. And I also want to thank Crafty Hints, my friend Chantel, for co-hosting today. The group of us ladies get together on the 20th of every month and bring you something. And Chantel picked Winter Wonderland this month. So with our unfortunate tragedy not getting to video, these signs were something that I done way back in the very beginning, and I think they might have gotten maybe 150, 160 views. So I thought, you know what, the people who are watching now was not watching back then, so let's just review it and kind of bring them back to life. But anyway, thank you for watching with me today. Thank you for all of the love and support the past week. It's just been really hard to get through. But honest and truly, your love and support has truly helped me through the past few days. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Be blessed. Bye now.